Trees for Yesha, the gift that keeps on growing. Planting a tree in Yesha is the perfect way to show you care. For $18 a fruit tree, you can show the Jews of Yesha that you stand together with them in these troubled times. Check out our website at treesforyesha.org.
Hi everyone, the spiritual and religious aspects of the Holocaust. Friends of Nava Applebaum remember her on their wedding nights, singing for Gush Katif, the Mimuna celebrations, and a tour of Tel Afek, today on Israeli Salad. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. This program is being recorded on Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. In honor of this day, David Miller visited the Shem Olam Institute, which researches the spiritual and religious aspects of the Holocaust.
Thousands of Jewish communities were destroyed during the Holocaust. Together with the rabbis, the poets, the educators, and the scholars, an entire spiritual and cultural world was annihilated. Many stories of bravery and heroism are told about those who went through the Holocaust, but the issue of Jewish spiritualism and religion in those days has not been dealt with in any appreciable way, until now. The Shem Olam Institute in Kfar Haroeh is devoted to exploring the most compelling questions concerning the roles that faith and religious conviction played in the lives of Holocaust victims and those around them. Rabbi Avram Krieger operates a team of researchers and historians along with a worldwide net of volunteers who collect information regarding this issue.
It's not a question of faith like did he go to the synagogue, wear tefillin, and eat only kosher. That wasn't possible in the ghetto. The question is, when the Jew was in a moment of crisis, what did he hold on to? What gave him a reason to fight for another day of life? We find that in many cases, it was spiritual issues that drove them.
Shem Olam is also involved in spiritually preparing young groups before they visit the remains of the ghettos and the death camps.
Each person has at least one shoe to memorialize them. A shoe that shouts out, I existed. Many books, documents, and pictures have been collected and archived in the Institute. Students go through the material, write down the names, the locations, and the stories, and the information is placed into memorial pamphlets that can be used on the trips to Europe. Many tragic stories have been discovered during the investigative work. One of these stories is hidden in the worn-out pages of this old Bible.
והנה אנחנו מוצאים דבר מרתק. לקראת ההפטרה של פרשת אחרי מות,
Here it says, God owns the world, God has been kind to me, signed Yehuda Aryeh Sochochinsky, Lodz. We know that Yehuda Aryeh Sochochinsky was a rabbi in Kalish. Here, near the end of the Parsha of Achrei Mot, we see a part of a beard.
משנים את הלבוש. ואותו רב, כאקט של מחאה כנראה, אין לו דרך להביע את הכאב העצום שלו שהוא נראה.
We know that in that time exactly, rabbis were forced to cut their beards and change their clothing. And so probably, as an act of protest, this rabbi, who had no other way to express his pain and sorrow, put the beard near this verse.
הנה נשיאי ישראל, איש...
Behold, the princes of Israel, each according to his might, have been there to shed blood. It's breathtaking to see how he expressed his protest with his own beard in the ghetto.
The significant importance of the Shem Olam Institute can definitely be seen in the stories and experiences of the youth that returned from their difficult but important trip to Europe.
There was a great spiritual way of coping with the situation. They blew the shofar in the camps. They even built Sukkot. They tried to do whatever they could.
Preparing for the trip, I thought to myself, how could something like this be? But then, when you come, you see it's worse than what you've been told.
The question has been asked over and over. Was God with us during the Holocaust? Shem Olam, through their efforts, keep alive the voices of the past who cry out that even during the most difficult time in our history, their traditions were kept and their faith in God was strong.
Nava Applebaum and her father David were murdered by terrorists the night before she was to be wed. On an earlier Israeli salad, we learned of how material from Nava's wedding dress was used for a holy purpose, a curtain of a Torah ark. This is what Tzvi Sand, father of Nava's fiancée, said to us then.
Am Yisrael Chai. We're continuing on. Ma'alim b'kodesh ve'en moridim. Even though the Kala didn't wear the dress on her wedding night, we took her dress, ve'elenu ota b'kodesh. We raised it higher to a higher level of sanctity, and now it's going to be a parochet for Aron Kodesh.
Today, material from the wedding dress is being used for another purpose that is not only holy, but is also very much connected to Nava's wedding, which tragically never occurred. Our crew visited one of Nava's friends a few days before her wedding.
There were people who were shocked by the idea. To take the wedding dress of a bride whose promising new life was cut down at the hand of terrorists the night before her wedding, and to use it for those who would be wed. Adina Pinchuk, a close friend of the terror victim Nava Applebaum, was first to use the chuppah, the wedding canopy, made from Nava's wedding dress.
She was a very good friend and family of ours, so it's also, for us personally, it's also for remembrance of her. Nava couldn't make it to her wedding, and first of all, we thank God that we are able to be in our chuppah and get married. And the second of all is also to remember that this is actually our answer to what's happening around us. People are getting killed the day before their wedding. So this is our answer.
Adina's mother, Aviva, was the one who initiated the project to incorporate Nava's wedding dress into the curtain on the ark in the complex of the grave of the matriarch Rachel. The idea of incorporating the wedding dress into a chuppah was the idea of Nava Applebaum's mother, Devorah, who asked Aviva to help with the project.
Deborah asked me what I thought about the idea of making a chuppah out of the rest of the wedding gown. I suggested to Deborah that perhaps this would be a project that Nava's friends and relatives should handle, and she thought that was a very, very wonderful idea.
A professional designer was hired, and after a few months, a few days before Adina Pinchuk's wedding, the project was completed.
And I can only tell you that when we had the chuppah standing in my living room for the first time just to see how it fits, Deborah, if I can use the word, was so thrilled, with tears in her eyes, sadness in her eyes, that she was so thrilled with the sight of Nava's wedding gown being turned into a work of art, something beautiful and something holy.
Adina saw this whole idea as a message of faith.
Of course it's difficult to use her wedding dress, especially when she couldn't make it to her chuppah, when she got killed the day before. But I think when we know the meaning of using it, the meaning of going on, and the meaning of remembering on our special day, which means to remember all the things that are happening, not just to say, okay, whatever, it's our happiest day in our life, we'll forget about everything, we'll go on. The lefech, we're going to remember and we're going to go on. And we know that this is our answer and this is what we want to do. So even though it's very, very hard, because we know the meaning of it, because we know it's the continuation is so important, then even though it's hard, I think it's very important and we want to use it.
Please send your comments, ideas, and questions to the Israeli Salad email, yoni@israelnn.com, or leave a message on the Israeli Salad voicemail at international dialing code 972-3918-5554. That's 972-3918-5554.
In Israel, like in America, music competitions are very popular these days. Shows like American Idol in the U.S. and A Star is Born in Israel are viewed by many. The music competition we'll now see is much more than just another music contest, since it carries an important message. In a small Tel Aviv basement, a number of musicians gathered to take part in a competition called Singing Through Love. In this competition, the judges choose 10 songs which will be combined in an album which will express both protest against the expulsion plans and solidarity with residents of Gush Katif, Judea and Samaria.
These songs can give a chance to a large part of the nation that has no way to express what they feel. Today, no one plays songs about the pain of disengagement, the pain of the expulsion.
These songs come from the heart. They express the pain. These people have received the most terrible decree. They're being expelled from their homes. Their lives are being ruined.
Unfortunately, we have many struggles awaiting. If we don't have a cultural infrastructure for this struggle, we need to have a cultural infrastructure for the next struggles. That's one of the reasons we're here, the long range.
I
think a song can carry a message of unity, and that's the most important thing in our country. I hope we reach unity. Through this unity, we can also express protest against an act that is against the unity, an act that is tearing the nation from itself.
If only culture would be used to bridge between the nations that are fighting already for dozens of years, I have no doubt peace would be achieved much faster.
Organizers of the competition hope that the new album and the rest of the songs written and composed for the contest will be able to touch the hearts of as many people as possible, combining love for the land, a cry against expulsion, and a call for unity and brotherhood. It looks like the judges, by the way, will have a hard time, as they enjoyed all the songs very much.
That was the best one so far.
Excellent. I loved it. It was touching.
A day after the 7th day of Passover, on the day when Jews from outside of Israel observe an extra day of Pesach, the Mimuna celebrations take place. The Mimuna tradition originates from Sephardic Jewish communities. One of the explanations to the name Mimuna is that it's named after Maimonides, who used to host a festive celebration on the day after Pesach. The name Mimuna also sounds like the word emunah, or faith, expressing the belief that although the holiday of redemption has come to an end, we believe that redemption and salvation can occur on any day. An exhibition of artwork influenced by the Mimuna was held at the Emunah Girls College of Arts in Jerusalem. Gabi Newman was there, saw some of the artwork, and heard from the organizers about the meaning of the Mimuna.
The main idea behind the Mimuna festival is the issue of blessings. Blessings and congratulations at the beginning of the new year, which starts with the month of Nisan.
You come to a family, they bless you, then you go to another family and they bless you too. The main idea is to receive blessings and to be strengthened.
We have sources that testify that this tradition was observed in all Jewish communities from Bukhara in the east all the way to Morocco.
הייתה קערה שמכילה קמח.
In the middle of the table, there was a plate filled with flour in memory of the Omer sacrifice in the Holy Temple.
זה אחד המוצגים של קערה בעיצוב חדש. קערה שכולם מטבעות.
One of the exhibits is a bowl made out of coins. You bless people that they'll have a fruitful year. The bowl is also sweet. It's made out of chocolate.
שתהיה מבורך בפרנסה.
רואים כאן את הקומקום התה.
Here we see the traditional Mimuna tea kettle. It's been decorated with coins. Every guest is honored with a refreshing cup of tea.
ומטבעות.
כשמרימים את התה,
The higher the tea kettle is raised, the more blessed is your fortune.
זה הייתה שאיפה להביא את העבר לעתיד.
Here we see the ambition to bring the past to the future. This is a famous Passover painting by Moritz Oppenheim.
ולאט לאט הכיסאות בצדדים.
And the chairs that you can see on the side join the table in the center. And these are our tables that join historical Pesach tables.
השולחנות שלנו, שאנחנו מתחלקים לשולחן הזה.
האווירה הלבבית הזאת, של דלת פתוחה, דלת שלא נסגרת, הלבביות הזאת.
The hearty atmosphere of an open door, the feeling of friendship and harmony that is felt on the night of the end of Pesach, this is what captured the hearts of the Jewish people, and this is how the tradition spread out to all layers of the nation.
ליבות עם ישראל, ומכאן שפרץ המנהג הזה החוצה לכל שכבות העם.
יש פה קומיקס שהוא מדבר על שתי משפחות. שתי משפחות, משפחה ספרדיה ומשפחה אשכנזית.
Here we have a comic strip about two families, one Sephardic and one Ashkenazic. It's about the Ashkenazic child who's sitting here, not understanding why there are celebrations and dancing.
למה הם רוקדים והוא לא מבין? ואז הסבתא כאילו מזמינה.
And then this grandmother invites the Rosenberg family to join the festivity, and the child joins in and is part of the blessings and the happiness.
גם כן שותף לשמחה ולברכות.
Our last report will be a visit to another nature reserve. This time we take you to Tel Afek, the Yarkon Springs. Tel Afek has been occupied for more than 5,000 years, and it has always been a strategic fortress because of its geographic location. Tel Afek lies at the headwaters of the Yarkon River, which blocks traffic on the coast and forces the International Coastal Highway, which was once known as the Way of the Sea, through a narrow funnel between the river and the Sumerian mountains. The Egyptians were here in the Late Bronze Age. The Philistines' camp was here when they fought the Israelites, and when Herod became king, he rebuilt Afek and named the city Antipatris after his father Antipater. From Antipatris we continue to the Yarkon Springs, the headwaters of the Yarkon River, which originates from four streams, Kana Rabbah, Ayalon and Shiloh. The Yarkon is known to many as the filthiest river in the country, as it receives its pollution from the greater Tel Aviv industrial area. But when you come to the park at Afek, you will find a much better situation, as there has been a considerable improvement of the water quality in recent years. Today, the source of the water in the Yarkon River, along 7.5 kilometers, is clean. Okay, from this point, where basically the Yarkon stream begins, we're going to continue. We're going to walk for around 1 kilometer to our next stop in this trip. Come on. A walk of around 1 kilometer brings us to the Yellow Water Lily Pond. Okay, our next stop here is this pond. Yes, this is not a field, it's a pond, I'm not mistaken. Under all these flowers is water. The yellow water lily, the nofar, blossoms in the summer. The nofar is in danger of extinction as a result of pollution in many rivers around the world, and so it is classified as a protected species. When it comes to sites with water, I have one rule. never leave the site without getting at least a bit wet. So luckily we have these channels here where we can actually feel the water flowing. Walking through this area, your pastoral atmosphere might be bothered a bit by the trains that go by here every few minutes, but that is part of the attraction, as you can learn here, of the train tracks, which were built in 1921. These train tracks were meant to bring merchandise from Rosh Hashanah, then to Petach Tikva, and then to the ports on the Mediterranean Sea. Near the train track is a pillbox guard post. Under this post is the back entrance to the Yarkon National Park. The park is grounds where visitors can sit down on the grass for a picnic and see the Yarkon River flow between the eucalyptus trees. In the middle of the park you could also see the Mir Flour Mill, an arched flour mill which was operational from the Roman period until the end of the Ottoman period. Okay, that's all from the Yarkon Springs National Park and Tel Afek. You know, this area is located minutes away from four main intersections in Israel, the Skula intersection, Yarkon, Rosh Hashanah, and Ganim. That's why if you're here visiting Israel, there are no excuses. You gotta come visit the Yarkon National Park. We'll be back in the studio right after this.
Be sure to visit the Israeli Salad website. On the Israeli Salad site, scroll through all the editions, see what topics were presented on each program, and simply click on the icon to watch your favorite program. Also, watch all our fantastic music videos featured right here on Israeli Salad. So be sure to click on www.israelnationaltv.com/salad.htm. That's www.israelnationaltv.com/salad.htm.
And now our weekly insight. Today we'll be discussing the Parsha, the portion of the week of Emor. Shalom to Rabbi David Samson in Jerusalem.
Shalom Yoni, shalom to all of our viewers around the world.
Throughout the Torah we read a lot about the work of the holy priests, the Kohanim, descendants of Aaron the priest. The Kohanim carried out the ritual tasks of the Holy Temple, and in our days the Kohanim are the ones who recite blessings during prayer. How do we explain this? Here's a group of people who have a special spiritual status. After all, we're all human beings, right?
Well, one of the things of Judaism is that different people are created in different ways, and that we don't really accept the axiom that all people are created equal. We accept the axiom that all people are created different. And we have an expression that just like their opinions are not the same, their faces are not the same, and people are just simply not the same. It doesn't mean that people are able to exploit others. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to be a racist or a fascist. But it means that we're recognizing that people are not equal, and that every person was created with a specific face, a specific thought pattern, and a specific personality, and that all of these people together worship God, each in his own way. Similarly, spiritually, there are people that have an intrinsic, metaphysical, spiritual, different makeup. And that just like there are people that have a physically different makeup, they have a spiritually different makeup. And there is a certain aristocratic echelon of Jewish society that have a specific spiritual makeup that allow them to serve in the temple and facilitate divine providence.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Samson.
The Weekly Insight is brought to you in cooperation with Machon Meir, the largest Zionist institute in Israel, bringing people closer to Judaism.
Okay, that's all for this week. We'll be back next week with another edition, so please join us then. Until next time, from all of us here at Israel National News, Shalom.
Jewish Response to Missionaries. This is a powerful, new, and complete 18-part digitally remastered CD series or 24-part cassette series with 423 new pages, plus an in-depth study guide by Rabbi Tovia Singer, a must-have for any library collection. This outstanding commentary is available now for only $99 plus shipping and handling. Order online now at www.outreachjudaism.org or call toll-free 1-800-315-JEWS. That's 1-800-315-JEWS.